Good morning. I want you to picture a moment that might feel incredibly familiar. You open your eyes as the morning light filters through the curtains. The house is perfectly still. You take a breath, preparing to swing your legs over the edge of the bed and greet the day. But instead of that crisp, sharp clarity we used to take for granted in our younger years, you feel a lingering heaviness. It is as if someone has draped a thick, invisible wool blanket over your mind. You sit there staring at the familiar pattern on the rug, trying to remember what you were supposed to do first. Is it making the coffee? Is it watering the ferns? The thoughts are there, but they are hiding behind a veil of morning fog, moving slower than honey on a cold winter day. If you have experienced this creeping slowness, this frustrating mental fog that makes you doubt your own sharpness, I want to look you in the eye and tell you this. I know exactly how you feel, because I've sat on the exact same edge of the bed, feeling the exact same quiet frustration. We often silently carry this worry, whispering to ourselves, "Is this just what getting older feels like?" We quietly mourn the days when our minds would instantly spring to life the moment our feet touched the floor. But please, let me reassure you, this is not a personal failure. And it is certainly not a sign that your beautiful, experienced mind is fading away. It is simply the wear and tear of a life well lived, a gentle signal from a body that requires a different kind of tending now. Our minds are like vintage clocks. They still keep perfect time, but they occasionally need a more delicate hand to wind them. That is exactly why we are here today. A little while ago, I realized that this morning fog wasn't about how I was waking up, but rather about how I was going to sleep. I stopped doing one very specific yet incredibly common thing before bed, and the transformation was profound. My mornings went from walking through molasses to stepping into a clear, crisp breeze. I reclaimed my morning clarity, and I want to help you do the very same thing, gently and without any stress. If you are ready to stop feeling like a passenger in your own body, and if you want to ensure that when you are 60, 70, or beautifully beyond, you can still effortlessly remember the little details that make life sweet, like the exact way your grandchild's laugh sounds, or the name of that magnificent bird visiting your garden, then I warmly invite you to subscribe to this channel. Join our cozy corner of the world right now. Together, we are going to take back control of our vitality, one gentle habit at a time, and prove that our golden years are meant to be lived with absolute clarity and grace. Let us take a moment to imagine the beautiful, intricate space inside your mind, not as a cold, biological machine, but rather as a grand, cherished old house. Throughout your 50, 60, or 70 years on this earth, this magnificent house has hosted thousands of gatherings. Every single day, from the moment you wake up, the heavy oak front doors of this house are thrown wide open. Guests walk in continuously. These guests are the sensory experiences of your day, the deep conversations you share with your family, the troubling news you hear on the radio, the household bills you calculate, the cherished memories you recall, and the countless small decisions you make. By the time the sun begins to set, the rooms of your mind are beautifully full, but they are also naturally, inevitably cluttered. The cushions on the sofas are flattened. There are teacups left on the tables, and the floors carry the dust of a busy, fulfilling day. This is the natural rhythm of life. We are meant to experience, to think, and to engage deeply with the world around us. But just like any grand old house, it requires a period of profound quiet, a gentle shutting of the doors, for the space to be lovingly restored to its welcoming, pristine glory for the next morning. Think of the mental energy you expend during the day as a roaring fire in the hearth of your living room. When we are in our 20s or 30s, we possess an almost reckless abundance of firewood. We can burn the logs brightly late into the night, throw a bucket of water on the embers at midnight, and somehow, miraculously, spark a brilliant, soaring flame again at dawn. But as we age with grace, the nature of our internal fireplace changes. It becomes more refined, preferring a steady, comforting, and warming glow over a wild, unpredictable blaze. Every thought we process and every emotion we navigate leaves behind a fine, powdery ash. This ash is completely normal. It is simply the natural byproduct of a mind that is vibrant, alive, and working hard. However, If this ash is not gently swept away during the stillness of the night, it accumulates. It settles thickly in the corners of the hearth, and when you try to light the fire the next morning, the fresh wood struggles to catch. It smolders. It creates a thick, heavy, suffocating smoke. That smoke, my friends, is exactly what we experience as morning brain fog. It is not a loss of intelligence. It is simply a fireplace choked with the ashes of yesterday. Nature, in its infinite and beautiful wisdom, has provided us with a magnificent silent cleaning crew for the house of our mind. You can think of it as a devoted, meticulous night watchman who only begins his rounds when the house is entirely dark and completely peaceful. This invisible caretaker has one singular, beautiful job: to walk quietly through the corridors of your brain, pick up the discarded cups of the day's worries, softly plump up the cushions of your cherished memories, file away the important conversations you had with your grandchildren, and, most importantly, sweep away the ash from the fireplace. He washes the windows of your perception so that the morning light can stream in flawlessly. It is a delicate process that restores the sparkling clarity we all crave. But there is a catch. A very important catch that becomes increasingly vital as we cross the threshold into our 50s and beyond. This silent caretaker is incredibly shy. He absolutely refuses to work if the lights in the house are still blazing. He will not step into the living room to sweep the ashes if there is still loud music playing, or if uninvited guests are still arguing loudly in the hallway. For the longest time, I did not understand this delicate balance. I thought I was relaxing at the end of the day. Like so many of us, I would spend my final waking hours sitting propped up in bed, holding a brightly lit screen just inches from my face. I would scroll through endless streams of trivial information, read alarming news articles that spiked my heart rate, or watch fast-paced videos that demanded my attention. I genuinely believed I was winding down, but in reality, I was throwing the front doors of my mind's house wide open at 11 o'clock at night. I was dragging a parade of noisy, demanding guests into the living room just as the night watchman was trying to pick up his broom. I was throwing damp, heavy logs onto a fireplace that was desperately trying to cool down and rest. I was flooding my eyes with an artificial daylight that tricked my aging, wise brain into believing the sun was still high in the sky. By refusing to let the house settle into silence, I was actively, though unknowingly, preventing the gentle restoration process that my mind so desperately needed to function the next day. Our mature minds are profoundly capable, beautiful landscapes, but they demand a different kind of respect. They no longer tolerate the chaotic, non-stop input that a 20-year-old brain might easily brush off. When we fail to respect this boundary, we wake up feeling as though we are wearing someone else's heavy shoes. The thoughts feel sticky, and the simple memory of where we left our reading glasses feels as though it is submerged under deep water. But honestly, isn't this need for quiet a beautiful thing? We have reached a stage in life where we have earned the absolute right to close the door to the outside noise. We have earned the privilege of quietness. The brain fog I felt each morning was not a symptom of my mind failing. It was a symptom of my mind pleading for a few hours of uninterrupted peace. Understanding this was my turning point. It was the exact moment I realized that mental clarity in the morning is not magically granted by the sunrise. It is carefully, lovingly cultivated in the hushed, tranquil hours of the evening. Once I clearly understood that my evening screen time was the very thing preventing my mind's night watchman from sweeping away the daily ashes, I knew I had to make a change. However, I absolutely did not want to adopt a rigid, punishing routine. We are well past the age of strict boot camps and demanding schedules. What we require now is gentleness. Therefore, I created a deeply comforting evening practice that I lovingly call the analog twilight. It sounds somewhat poetic, but in everyday reality, it is the simplest, most effortless shift you can possibly make. At a very specific time each evening, for me, it is exactly 1 hour before I intend to sleep. I intentionally sever my connection to the glowing, demanding, infinite digital world. I take my smartphone, my tablet, and the television remote, and I literally put them to bed before I put myself to bed. I place my devices in a completely different room, plugged into their chargers, far away from my nightstand. This single physical act of walking away from the screen is the declaration of peace that my aging, beautiful mind has been begging for. But taking away the digital screen leaves an empty space in our routine, and nature always abhors a vacuum. If we merely sit there in the dark with nothing to do, our minds will inevitably begin to race. We must replace the digital chaos with sensory calm. This brings us to the first gentle action of the analog twilight. I call it lowering the stage lights. Think of a grand theater right before the main performance is about to begin. The bright overhead lights slowly dim, sending a silent signal to the audience that it is time to settle down and quiet their voices. I do exactly this in my own living room. I switch off every harsh overhead ceiling light. Instead, I turn on just one or two small lamps fitted with warm, amber bulbs. It is the kind of light that beautifully mimics a setting sun or the glowing embers of a hearth. By doing this, you are whispering an ancient biological secret to your body. You are recreating the natural dusk that our ancestors experienced for thousands of years. In this soft, golden glow, I return to physical, tactile objects. I pick up a real paper book, not an e-reader with a backlight, but a proper book with pages that have actual texture, pages that rustle softly when you turn them. Or perhaps I browse through a beautifully printed magazine about gardening or travel. The simple, rhythmic, physical act of turning a paper page, feeling the slight roughness of the paper under your thumb, grounds your nervous system firmly in the present moment. It does not demand quick clicks or rapid scrolling. It simply invites a slow, leisurely stroll for your eyes. The second practice is what I call the evening unloading. Remember those lingering thoughts I mentioned earlier? The sudden worries about whether you remembered to water the ferns or the mental note to call the plumber? If we carry those loose thoughts into the bedroom, they will echo loudly in the quiet room of our mind all night long. To easily prevent this, I keep a small, inexpensive paper notepad and a comfortable pen right next to my amber reading lamp. As I sit there in the soft light, feeling completely supported by the cushions of my favorite chair, I perform a gentle brain dump. I write down absolutely anything that feels heavy, unfinished, or unresolved. I write simple phrases like, buy milk tomorrow, call Sarah on Tuesday, or check the garden hose. Please understand, this is not a formal journal. It does not require beautiful handwriting, perfect grammar, or deep philosophical reflections. It is simply a physical transfer of weight. By moving these mundane tasks from the invisible, floating space of my mind onto a tangible piece of paper, I am giving my brain explicit permission to let them go for the night. I am telling my mind, it is entirely safe to forget this right now. The paper has taken the responsibility of remembering it for you. It takes perhaps 2 minutes to do this. It requires absolutely zero physical exertion. You do not even have to stand up from your chair. Yet, the deep sigh of relief it provides to a busy, mature mind is truly profound. To beautifully tie these evening moments together, I introduce one final, profoundly comforting sensory anchor: warmth. As we transition from daytime into the evening, our body temperature naturally begins to drop. We can beautifully support this natural biological rhythm by warming ourselves from the outside in, which sends an immediate signal of comfort and safety to our nervous system. While I am writing my little list on the notepad or casually turning the pages of my book, I slowly sip a warm, completely caffeine-free beverage. I highly recommend a simple cup of chamomile or a mild peppermint tea. The preparation itself becomes a miniature grounding ritual. Listening to the kettle softly rumble in the kitchen, watching the steam curl gracefully into the air, and feeling the comforting, gentle heat of the ceramic mug seeping into the palms of your hands. Our hands are incredibly rich in nerve endings, and warming them sends a soothing message directly up your arms and into your relaxing brain. You see, when we were much younger, we might have poured a heavy glass of wine or grabbed a sugary snack, asking our bodies to process complex things late at night. Now, we are offering our precious bodies nothing but warm, fragrant water. It is the ultimate act of bodily gentleness. You take a slow sip. You feel the warmth travel down to your stomach. You turn a paper page, and you simply breathe. Let us take a step back and look at what we have accomplished here. Without stepping a single foot inside a noisy gym, without buying expensive, complicated supplements, and without forcing our aging bodies into uncomfortable or demanding physical positions, we have completely transformed our evening. We have turned off the glaring, demanding digital noise. We have lowered the stage lights to mimic a peaceful dusk. We have safely transferred our lingering worries onto a physical piece of paper. And we have comforted our nervous system with a warm cup of herbal tea. Every single one of these actions is completely accessible to you, regardless of your current physical mobility. Whether you have bad knees that ache in the cold, a stiff back that resents bending, or you simply feel deeply exhausted from the day's events, you can still sit in your favorite armchair, hold a warm mug, and write 3 words on a piece of paper. We are not adding complex, stressful tasks to our lives. We are elegantly subtracting the noise. We are simply giving the silent night watchman the peace and darkness he so desperately needs to sweep the ashes of the day away, ensuring that when the sun rises again, our minds are miraculously clear, wonderfully sharp, and entirely ready to embrace the beautiful morning. Let us pause for a moment and look a little deeper beneath the surface of these simple evening habits. Have you ever asked yourself why it is so incredibly difficult to put that glowing screen down in the first place? Why do we instinctively cling to our phones, reading the news or scrolling through endless social updates, even when our eyes are burning and our bodies are aching for rest? It is not merely a lack of discipline. It comes from a deeply ingrained, almost heroic habit of holding the world together. For the past 3, 4, or 5 decades, you have been the ultimate caretaker. You were the one who stayed up late to make sure the children were safe, the bills were paid, the house was secure, and the endless crises of daily life were managed. You spent your entire adult life standing on the watchtower, hyper-vigilant, making sure your family's world kept spinning. That brightly lit screen in your hand at midnight is, in many ways, just a modern version of that watchtower. It gives us the illusion that if we just consume one more article, if we just check one more update, we are still actively protecting our environment. We are afraid that if we look away, if we finally let our guard down, we might miss something crucial. But the profound truth of the season of life we are entering now is that the world will continue to spin without our constant midnight supervision. The heavy armor we wore so bravely for decades is now exactly what is exhausting us. When we are in our 30s and 40s, the world demands that we measure our worth by our sheer output. How much we can accomplish, how many problems we can solve, and how fast we can run. We are the builders, constantly adding bricks to the foundation of our lives. But as we transition into our late 50s, 60s, and beyond, our role in the human family beautifully shifts. We are no longer required to be the frantic builders. We are invited to become the steady lighthouses. A lighthouse does not run up and down the coastline trying to rescue every single ship. It stands tall, deeply rooted, and simply radiates a clear, calm light. To emit that steady light during the day, the lighthouse requires an absolute, uncompromised period of darkness to recharge. When we deliberately choose our analog twilight, when we turn off the news, silence the notifications, and close the book on the world's daily chaos, we are acknowledging this beautiful shift in our life's purpose. We are making a profound declaration that our highest value to our children, our grandchildren, and our communities is no longer our frantic doing, but our peaceful, grounded presence. A mind that is constantly frazzled by midnight anxieties cannot offer the deep, comforting wisdom that only a mature soul possesses. Modern society has a very unfortunate habit of defining the aging process entirely through the lens of loss. The magazines and advertisements tell us that getting older means losing our energy, losing our sharp memory, and losing our relevance. They try to sell us endless things to add to our lives to somehow fight the clock. But the longer I live, the more I realize that aging, when done with intention and grace, is not a process of losing at all. It is the exquisite art of subtraction. Think of a master sculptor working on a block of rough marble. He does not create a breathtaking masterpiece by aggressively throwing more and more clay onto the stone. He creates the masterpiece by gently, patiently chipping away everything that is not the art. He removes the excess. He subtracts the noise. This is exactly what we are doing when we turn off those harsh ceiling lights and step away from the digital chaos. We are deliberately chipping away the trivial, exhausting noise of the modern world to reveal the beautiful, quiet masterpiece of our own minds. The morning brain fog we discussed earlier is simply the dust from carrying too much of the world's excess weight. When we practice the art of evening subtraction, we are not giving up. We are refining ourselves down to what is truly essential. This nightly ritual of putting the digital world to sleep before we sleep is, at its core, a daily practice in the art of letting go. Letting go is perhaps the hardest lesson we must learn as we grow older. We have to let go of the physical strength we had in our 20s. We have to let go of our children as they build their own independent lives. And we have to let go of our need to control every outcome. Every single night when you close that notebook after writing down your worries and you turn off that little amber lamp, you are practicing this vital life skill. You are looking at the unfinished business of the day, the unresolved problems, and the chaotic state of the world, and you are whispering a gentle boundary. You are saying, "I have done my best for today. The rest can wait." It is a daily rehearsal for the ultimate piece of our golden years. It is an act of treating yourself with the same profound dignity and gentleness that you have spent your whole life offering to others. We spend so much time taking care of our homes, our cars, and our loved ones. But how often do we offer that same tender stewardship to the quiet rooms of our own minds? This brings me to a realization that fundamentally changed how I view not just my evenings, but my entire journey through this stage of life. If you take away only one thought from our conversation today, I hope it is this. Aging gracefully is not about aggressively fighting the sunset. It is about learning to sit quietly in the twilight, knowing that the stars will only reveal themselves when we finally allow the sky to turn completely dark. We have been conditioned to fear the dark, to fear the quiet, and to fill every silent void with glowing screens and endless information. But the clarity you seek for your mornings, that beautiful, sharp, effortless ability to remember the names of your favorite flowers or to be entirely present when your grandchild tells you a story, that clarity is born in the quiet dark. By reclaiming your evening, you are not just clearing away tomorrow's brain fog. You are reclaiming the dignity of your own mind. You are proving that you are not a passive victim of getting older, but a wise curator of your own vitality. When you finally allow the day to truly end, without resistance and without the artificial glare of a screen, you will wake up not just with a clearer head, but with a lighter spirit, ready to step into the morning with the effortless grace you absolutely deserve. As we sit here in the quiet glow of this shared space, I want you to imagine exactly how you are going to feel tomorrow morning. You will open your eyes, and instead of instinctively reaching out into a thick, confusing fog, you will feel the ground solidly beneath your feet. You will take a deep breath and feel ready to engage with the world on your own terms. But the evening routine we discussed today is just one half of the beautiful circle of our daily vitality. Once we have successfully cleared the ashes of yesterday and allowed our minds to rest, how do we then gently ignite the bright, steady flame for the new day? How do we keep that precious morning clarity sharp, focused, and resilient as we move through our busy, often unpredictable lives? The evening prepares the soil, but what we do in those first waking moments is what truly waters the garden of our mind. This is exactly what we are going to explore in our next conversation. Often, the most powerful and enduring habits are the ones we can seamlessly weave into the mundane things we already do on autopilot. Next week, I'm going to share a fascinating, incredibly simple practice that takes absolutely zero extra time out of your busy morning. I am going to show you exactly what to do with your mind while you are standing there simply brushing your teeth. It is a tiny, effortless adjustment that has been shown to wonderfully engage your neural pathways and keep your mind beautifully sharp, especially as we confidently navigate our 60s, 70s, and beyond. It is a completely counterintuitive little trick, and I promise you, once you learn it, you will never look at your morning mirror the same way again. You certainly do not want to miss that one because combining these gentle morning practices with your new analog twilight routine creates a powerful, unshakable foundation for your absolute independence. In this fast-paced world, it is so easy to slip back into our old, exhausting habits if we do not have gentle reminders. So, if you haven't already, please take a brief moment right now to click the subscribe button just below this video. And do not forget to gently tap that little notification bell next to it. By doing so, you are ensuring that we can continue these warm living room chats without interruption. You will be the very first to know when it is time to add another effortless, life-enhancing tool to your daily vitality kit. We are building a wonderfully supportive community of mature, wise individuals here, and your presence makes this space so much richer. Before we part ways today and let the beautiful evening settle in, I have a small favor to ask. I would absolutely love to hear your voice down in the comments section. Tell me, what is the very first thing you are going to write down on your physical notepad tonight to get it out of your mind? Is it a reminder to call an old friend you haven't spoken to in months? Is it a mundane household chore like checking the garden hose? Or perhaps it is just a lingering, heavy thought from the afternoon that you need to let go of. Whatever it is, share it with us below. Let our community be the safe place where you unload that thought for the day. I sit in my favorite chair with my tea and read every single one of your messages, and it brings me immense joy to see us supporting each other on this journey. As always, my friends, I must gently remind you that the thoughts and habits we share in this cozy space are simply drawn from my own life experience. They are meant for educational and conversational purposes to inspire your daily routine. They are never a substitute for the wise, personalized counsel of your own physician. We are all beautifully unique in our aging process, and if you have specific concerns about your memory, mobility, or overall health, please always consult with a professional who truly knows your medical story. Now, the daylight is fading, and it is time for me to go turn on my own amber lamp and prepare my chamomile tea. Take wonderful care of your beautiful mind tonight. Rest well, age gracefully, and I will see you right back here on the porch next week. Goodbye for now.